Yeah, we going up, we going crazy, going bonkers. Produced by Ziggy, Zay Ticky, believe that.
It ain't peaches, it'll deceive you, boy, believe me. What you know about a jungle made with nothing but semen. No creepy crawlers, just heathens that prey on your weakness. Smell the slightest hint of fear, and the stainless you'll eat it. Gang bangers that greet your test on their face like Weezy. Pouring milk by the ounce, walking around looking sleepy. I'm from a town, no integrity, a broken city, disrupted. I know niggas who once were real, who now turning into sucks. When it comes to murder, it's nothing. Rallos get pulled over scuffles. Bumpy road around this motherfucker, your life means nothing. It ain't peaches. Niggas walking around with no feelings, with a chip on their shoulder, saying the world don't feel us. Trying to earn them some millions so they can split with they niggas. I know cats that died broke because they lost all ambition. When it comes up to get
Welcome back to another edition of More to Live For. We're still on this good segment, Men of Honor. We're fortunate enough to be up to volume 14 now. So got a special guest with me tonight. Very special guest, actually. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, his relationship to me. He's gonna lay out his occupation and we're gonna go from there. What's going on? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, young man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
All right, so my name is Ernest Moore Sr., obviously with the same name. That's my son right there. That's my oldest son. I also have a daughter and I also have a youngest son. My daughter's down in Tampa and my youngest son is here with me in Connecticut. It's Memorial Day, so we're going to talk about the sacrifices veterans have made for this country and what they continue to do.
All right.
Pretty much. You asked me about my occupation. I'm sorry. I am U.S. Army retired. I was medically retired 16 and a half years. I served in the U.S. Army, 82nd Airborne. I spent 7.5 years in Germany. Ernest obviously has told a lot of people that know him. He was born in Germany along with his sister. I served in the first Desert Storm. I did time in Mogadishu, Somalia. And when I retired from the U.S. Army, I joined FedEx. I'm a manager with FedEx. I got about 23 years with FedEx, almost ready to retire from that job and start another chapter in my life, hopefully the funeral business. I'm in that business right now, going to embalming school. So, I just try to keep myself busy. And I'm also a proud grandfather of 2 boys, Jaden and Cameron, that's there with their father.
All right, well put. Before we dig into, this Federal Express world and everything that brings up, can you tell me a little bit about your, mainly tell my viewers and my subscribers about your military background?
Yeah, I went in the military right after high school. My first duty station was Wiesbaden, Germany. That's where Ernest was born. I was over there for, I think, 3.5 years the first time. Left there, went to Fort Hood, Texas. I was there, I think, 18 months. Then I went back to Germany. Then my daughter was born. I was over there, I think, the second time, 3.5 years. The Army did a lot. It taught me how, to be on my own, how to balance a checkbook when I was 18, how to learn how to live, get paid the 1st and the 15th. I was fortunate enough to leave New Haven, Connecticut, and see another part of the world. I've traveled a whole lot when I was in the military. I have been in Africa and Africa. I've been over in the Middle East. So I was fortunate. I did a lot of traveling. I met a lot of wonderful people. So, yeah.
All right. So how could you describe your first experience? being a, teenager, really, 19, how was that first experience of, just leaving your hometown, knowing that you're leaving and going to better yourself?
Um, it was scary, obviously. 18 years old, Fort Bliss, Texas, getting yelled at. See, the Army nowadays is entirely different than what it used to be. Actually, our society is more, I'm gonna be careful how I say this because I don't want to offend people. Society nowadays is more softer. So back then, the military, the drill sergeants could put hands on you, degrade you, call you any kind of names. Break you down was the goal. They break you down and build you back up. Now, you can have cell phones and basic training and, all this other stuff. But, I won't even give my opinion on that. But so, it was scary. You got, you was in basic training. People can put their hands on you and stuff like that. And, when I think back, that's the purpose of that, to break you down and to make you become a team player and learn to listen and make sound decisions that one day will better yourself, especially if you have to go to combat. You got to be able to be more hands-on and have that can-do survival mode mindset,
All right. So how long would you say it was before you started to see, a change in yourself, a change in your attitude, your work ethic, and, just your overall well-being? When you first enlisted?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say probably when my grandmother passed away. My grandmother passed away in 1984. I was in Germany and I had to come back to the States. And I realized then that I'm a U.S. soldier, and that's my job. I came home from my grandmother's funeral, and my home is not in Connecticut no more. My home is over in Europe, in 8th ID, back in my unit. That's my job. And I realized then that, I was a grown up and I knew responsibility. I couldn't stay home and be there and not do what I was supposed to do. I had that mindset.
All right. Something I never really asked you, growing up, but was some of the I want to make sure I word this carefully, but could you say some of the things that you experienced, during your Army years, it made it, how can I put this? It made, losses and other things in life easier to deal with. I guess that's how I can put it.
Yeah, that's another good question, eh? I put it like this: the military, you make a lot of sacrifices. You make a lot of sacrifices, and you learn that you can't be home for everybody's wedding, everybody's cookout, everybody's funeral. So, yeah, I missed a lot. I mean, missed a lot. I missed your graduation. I missed your sister's graduation. Active duty. It's the sacrifices that you make sometime, but you got to look at it, the pros and the cons of it.
Yeah, and before you start dwelling too much on the cons, the pros that I can say from things that I experienced, just just as a kid, just knowing that your dad was part of something bigger than what you see around you. So that's what I experienced through those years. But I do remember those I want to say the early 90s, 91, 92. I do remember my mom making a big deal about what you were going to do, but at the same time trying to keep it under wraps, not really wanting to tell me what was going on. I was 7 or 8 at the time. I think this was your time in Africa. I really don't want to dwell too much about that experience, but I know that that's a troubling experience for you, and I don't want to trigger any anything stress related that it can cause for you. But if you can briefly speak about, just how big of an ordeal that was and what was going on in the world at that time.
Okay. Another good question. Okay. Being a veteran is something that I'm proud of, but being a combat veteran is a totally different thing. I'm fortunate enough that I served twice combat. When I was over in Somalia, if you ever get a chance, watch a movie that I can't watch. It's called Black Hawk Down. And it gives you like a brief, so most of it I hear is a lot of fiction, but it does show some of the stuff that went on over there. Yeah, that was a rough time. My mother, I will carry this guilt to the day I leave this world. My mother told me that the October 4th, after that firefight, they showed, I think it was 4 American bodies being dragged in the streets of Mogadishu, Somalia, burning. And remember, back then it was no cell phones, it was no emails, it wasn't no Instagram, and what everybody have nowadays when you have that. We had ABC, TBS, NBC, and she was telling me that was the hardest day of her life because she didn't know if I was one of them soldiers, that I get killed or whatever. That same Sunday, one of my Mason brothers, Sergeant Cornell Houston, 25 years old, I will always have him on my heart. He, unfortunately, I was one of the 19 soldiers that didn't make it, that got killed. I saw him probably a couple hours before things got really hot. And when I found out, I felt he was my brother, not my Mason brother, but my brother. And, it just hurt me. And, it was hard. It's hard now. I did a lot of things over there I'm not proud of. And that's some guilt that, I have to carry. And, I have a lot of secrets that, I'm not, there's a whole lot of things I want to tell you, and I want to tell my other two before I leave this world. And I'm just waiting because your thought of your father may, I don't know, change, or you may love me more, you may look at me from a different angle. So do I have any regrets? Absolutely not. Why? Because I was fortunate enough to experience a whole lot of things that the average person my age wasn't. I was airborne. I jumped out of an aircraft probably about 180 times. I was a jump master, 82nd Airborne, proud as I can be. I did things that the average man my age wouldn't. I retired as a sergeant first class, master blaster, love it. You was born in Germany. I'm sure you can count the number of friends that that you grew up with that can say that. It was a lot of good, a lot of sacrifices, but it's all about the choices that you make.
Oh yeah, definitely. And not to cut you off, but just wanna key in on something that you said. We good and grown now. Me, Alicia, and Isaiah, and my image of you would never change. So just remember that and just hold on to that as tight as you can. But I mean, I am an adult now, and I do know the history of this country, and I do know what war means. So, and that's what you were in. So nothing that you could tell me that you haven't told me yet will surprise me about what could possibly happen in the war. So yeah. I just want to clear that up and let you know that my image of you never changed. And I know Isaiah and Alicia feel the same way. So shout out to them too. But I definitely want to commend you for even talking about that. And I definitely want to, definitely give you your flowers while you're here. And I also want to commend you for, seeking the help that a lot of veterans need after going through combat, because it's not an easy transition from being in combat to being a civilian. It's just not, no matter how people, may try to look at it. So for you and any other combat veteran, that seeks mental health or seeks therapy, I think that's a beautiful thing. And I just want to highlight that for a quick second. And I can definitely say, obviously, I really don't know what type of person you were before the Army, but I can definitely say I benefited from it just by structure, the structure in my life and how the things that you taught me and all the advice that you gave me over the years, as well as the expectations. Some of them haven't quite lived up to yet, but I'm working on it. But just, the foundation that you set out, that you laid out for me. So I definitely can say I benefited from it.
Yeah, well, you know how I feel about you. Are you my oldest? I gave you my name for a reason. I was watching I was watching a video with Dontario. I got to reach out to him too. I was watching the one with Carlton, and it's good to see your bond, out with your cousins. And you had said something, at the end that really touched me. It was a shout out, sort of. I think Dontario was talking about. I think he said something about he would never leave his kids. He would never walk away from his kids. And I want to save this for our Father's Day talk, but it's coming to me now. And I think you said something about me. Your mother and I divorced when you was 3, but I was always there.
Yeah.
I appreciate that because I'm sure you grew up, hearing, all this stuff at first, until you got a certain age. And my goal to you, as well as my other 2 kids, is to show you what a father and what a man is supposed to be. Legacy. Just because it doesn't work out with the mother, that doesn't have anything to do with the child. And I think, us, that's very, very, very important. I think a lot of fathers, and mothers, once they realize that, right, they realize, you put the child first or the children first, everything else will take its course. And I'm proud to say I was able to do that with you and my, Alicia's mom and, Aunt Isaiah's mom. So
yeah, definitely. And to kind of touch on something that you said, I definitely, growing up, it was kind of like I already had a clear understanding of what was going on. But as far as, hearing other things, nah, I didn't have that experience. I can honestly say that I didn't have that experience. It was more so of, okay, I know this holiday coming up, or I know this summer vacation coming up, so I know I'm on 95. It was more so of that. So just wanted to let you know exactly how things were, and just so much that I learned from you. Especially now that I'm a father. Just not only how you raised me, but my brother and my sister. So I definitely learned a lot, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I remember a few summers ago, I think it was 2019. I think it was the same year Cameron was born. But when I had a chance to introduce you as a guest, for this Father's Day program that we were at this church down here. So that was cool. So I just wanted to, make sure you remember that. That was pretty cool. So that was definitely, highlight my summer. So, but yeah, so we definitely can keep the ball rolling. But we touched on a lot of good things, and like you said, it's so much that we want to save, for the Father's Day talk. But yeah, but I definitely just wanted to, throw in right quick and let you know exactly, the positive role that you played and the role model that you are. I mean, I look just like you. I mean, I could have had a haircut, but I chose dreads. So my daddy got it. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind.
I just decided to grow them when I retired, from the military, and I was with, at the time, I was with Isaiah's mom, and, she's from Staten Island, and I just wanted to try something different. So I asked her to start them, and, I just, something different for me, after being, locked down with the military look for those years. But, I love what you're doing. I love your format. You and I, we chop it up, every once in a while.
More than
I
once
love
in a
the fact
while.
that, huh?
I said more than once in a while, every other day. Just like I talked to my mom, that's how it's supposed to be. But
Yeah.
we definitely ain't finished yet. I don't want you to think we're wrapping it up. We talked about the Army, we talked about military life. I want you to, if you can, briefly describe, the journey through Federal Express. I want you to start with what you do now, the position that you are, and basically, you could end with, the transition of one, compared to where you are now. I want you to kind of tie that back into how it was, when you first started leaving the Army.
All right. So I'm a ramp operation manager. I work at the Bradley ramp, which is the Hartford Airport. I'm on the airport side of the company now. I did about 17 and a half years, I think, with FedEx Express, being a courier, being a manager of couriers, dealing with the public. Now I'm in the background working flights. All I do is deal with flights and tractor trailer drivers. I just left JFK Airport. I was there for about 2.5 years. Now I'm back in Connecticut. I just love managing. I was a sergeant, in the military, used to that. So FedEx is like the military. You can transfer. I'm thinking about my last couple years transferring to the hub in Greensboro, North Carolina, maybe, or Atlanta, or even Tampa, ready to, leave the hustle and bustle and head south and retire and try to work on being there for my grandsons now. It's all about that. My journey is almost, I won't say it's over, but it's time for me to focus on being a grandfather. And I'm a newly father-in-law, which is totally blowing my mind. So I want to work on that, and I want to work on that, and I want to visit my nephews, your cousins, because we kind of grew up close a little bit. And for viewers that don't know, you had mentioned this sort of, but for viewers that don't know, my grandfather, when he passed away, was pastor in 3 churches, Rock Hill in Robinsonville, Antioch and Everett, and Macedonia, and I think it's Gold Point. He passed away in 1988. He was 89 years old. And at one of the churches, Ernest's entire family grew up in that church. His father was one of my grandfather deacons, and I think my grandfather married a couple of his older aunts and uncles. I believe he married Carlton parents.
Okay.
And I think I could be wrong, but I think Milton and I won't mess your aunt's name up. I call her
Aunt Dolores. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But so
Okay.
our families go back. Fortunately, Ernest was he wasn't born yet, so he really don't know how far it is that legacy goes back. So I was fortunate where I can come to North Carolina right now and I could visit that side of the family, because the history is there and that love is there and everything. Yeah, my cell phone is down on me. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
But,
So yeah, it's so FedEx in the Army, they both have been good to me, and now I'm almost at the end of my journey, and it's time for me to start something else. Like I said earlier, I've been going to embalming school. I work at a funeral home, so I think I want to try to start spending more time at the funeral home now. And my goal now is to get my bomber license and go from there. I don't want to own a funeral home. I just want to service the funeral home. So it's probably that route for me next, probably, I guess.
okay. All right. But yeah, I think definitely, the details you laid out about, the military, definitely things that you've been through, and also the discipline and structure that it taught you. I think you laid it out very well. And how
Yeah, what I try to um teach you all too, even though I wasn't there every day, but I see that in each of my kids. You all have it. You know, you have to work to eat. You know, you can't depend on nobody. You know, life is not perfect. You know, you don't want to hang around people that have nothing going for them because all they're going to do is drag you down. You know that.
Yep.
You know that if you have a family, you take care of your family. You know, family comes first. So you all have that. And that's where I'm proud, where I can sit back in the back seat now and relax and feel comfortable that I did my job just as you all's mother did your job. But I'm happy to see that you all have those traits. You all don't have the mindset where somebody owes you something. You all are Moors, and I'm proud of that.
Oh, yeah, definitely more to live for and more vision. You know, that's what it's all about. But I definitely want to just chime in on something that you mentioned as far as my great grandparents and the fact that my great grandparents, like I mentioned in the previous video, my great grandparents and my grandparents, my mother's parents, the fact that they knew each other, went to church together and worked together, it just really opened my eyes to the fact that I really need to, you know, to be as close to one side of my family as I am to the other. You know, I think I can do better at that. I'm not gonna beat myself up about it, but you know, I'm always, you know, let them know that, you know, the line of communication is open, and that's the most I can do. That's the best I can do, and that will be the most that I will do before I beat myself up about it. But it is important that I can at least try, you know, to remain close with people, you know, as much as I can. But we all grown now, and we all got families now, so I definitely know it ain't as easy as it was when we were kids. But you know, I'm still gonna do my part, and I want to thank you for, you know, kind of touching on that. And I definitely, you know, want to thank you for everything you've been to me and my siblings,
Thank you.
you know, and the role model that you've been. And I'm
Yeah,
continuing to, you know, to strive, trying to be better at everything I do. So I'm continuing to try to make you and my mother proud, and you know, to be a better role model for my younger sister and my
you
younger
are.
brother.
Yeah, you are in. You know, far as my growing up, I really didn't get to talk about that because I want to say that for Father's Day, but
Yeah.
it was hard having a father in my life, and I did something that I want to talk about Father's Day, but I'm gonna just chime on this so we can let the viewers know. It's all about breaking bonds. My father was not in my life, and I tried to in his life, but he didn't want it. And I was determined to break that bond, meaning I wasn't going to roll it over to you all. And that's why when my father was on his deathbed and I got him to, I confessed, where was you at?
Right there with you.
Because I wanted you to hear this, and I wanted you to see that I broke that bond, and I wanted you to see how hurt he was when he knew he was leaving this world. He died, I think, a couple of days later, but I wanted you to understand that's part of being a father, owning up to stuff before you leave this world. And unfortunately, he waited till the very end, but at least he finally told me he loved me, and it hurts, but that's something I live with. That's something I never had the opportunity to have. And fathers out there, it can be broken. I did it. It's not easy, but I was able to break that bond. I didn't want to treat my kids the way my father treated me. So Father's Day's coming up. Father's Day is more than just having on the same color T-shirt and walking together in the mall. Is more than that. So we can chop that up a little.
Yeah, we're gonna say some of that for Father's Day, but real fast, I want to, just touch on one more quick thing, and that's how good you are to the one grandmother that I got left. So I definitely want to touch in on that. love my grandma to death. You know, I need to talk to her more than what I do, but you always reminding me and my sister and brother that we should, you know, talk to her more than what we do. But I think I've been doing better. But I just want to highlight the fact that, you know, how much time you take up with her. And I hope I can do, you know, I hope I can do what you do, you know, with my mom. Because, you know, y'all take trips together. You know,
You
y'all
only get
do a
one.
lot together. Yeah, you only get one. And y'all
One,
do a lot, you know, and I just think that's you know, that's real special. That's real special, especially, you know, now that, you know, she's a great grandmother and she can see you as a grandfather. So, and you still doing the same things for her that you've always been. And it's real cool to take trips, but I want to take trips with my mom soon. So I'm gonna see how that go. But I think it's cool that you do it. And you know, you're still close with your brothers and sisters. And I definitely need to reach out to my aunts and my uncle more than what I do. But I will, and I'm learning all that from you. You know, just how to be a better man overall. So I just want to thank you once again for being this great role model, not only to me, but to my siblings and to your grandchildren. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. It's been another edition of More to Live for Men of Honor. We up to volume 14 now. 14. More to come, more to live for, more vision. Why settle for less when your last name is more? We up out of here. Appreciate you, Pops. Love you, man.
Hey, I'll be down there Father's Day. See you soon.
All right. We up out of here.